Hi, welcome to June 2025. This is our annual monthly school board live at 5:25. I am here today with Principal Bobby Riley. I'm so excited to hear about the culmination of your school year at Eagle Bay Academy and really share with our viewers and our Burlington School District and the citizens of Burlington what Eagle Bay is. It's been a long time in the making under your leadership, and I'm just so excited. Thank you for affording me the time to meet with you and give a sort of a photo journal route through Eagle Bay, as well as an overview of what gets done there with students and advisors and teachers, as you call them. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So do you want to give us a timeline, how we came to be where we are, and walk us through that? And then we'll start with entering the campus.
Yes, yeah. So I've been in the district now. I'm losing track, Claire, a little bit. I think I'm going into my 25th year.
Amazing. Thank you.
So it's been a ride. And then another 13 as a student. So I spent most of my life in this Burlington School District. And I was the principal at the Integrated Arts Academy. Prior to that, the librarian there. Did that for about 9 years. And then for the last 6 years, I've been principal at what were two alternative programs, Horizons and On Top. And when I was fortunate enough to take the helm at those programs, we sort of found that we might be able to do things a little bit more efficiently and effectively for students. Because I think at one time, the programs were very different in terms of the students they served. But what we found over the last several years is that the students didn't differ that much, and we could be more efficient and effective by combining the programs, sort of rebranding it, creating a new narrative of what these schools could be. And then so out of that was sort of the genesis of the idea. And then out of that, we decided, well, maybe we can merge the two programs with a very student-centered and student-directed outlook and mission.
Wonderful. And for people that don't know, these our Burlington School District Eagle Bay Academy serves 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders.
Yes.
And anything post 12th grade, or?
We have students that have been with us till nearly 22 years of age, yes.
Okay.
Yes, so it's a K-12, a 9-12 plus program.
Okay, that's what I wondered. Yep. So alternative opportunity, alternative setting for those who wouldn't attend Burlington High School, identified throughout their school year, whether it's through middle school or during high school, with the support systems of our high school faculty and staff and your administration and your support team. And then all the accreditation, similar to what the state requires, meeting all those needs. I know that you said, what is the daily schedule? So again, 9:30 to 2 p.m. Each day. Students come, they have the same core curriculars. They're divided into teams.
Yes.
And why don't we let's walk through as we go. So where are you located? Where is beautiful Eagle Bay?
Beautiful Eagle Bay. I mean, I think it's really important. What happened, it's an interesting story. As we came back from COVID, as you know, one of the programs I was running was at the high school on top. And as soon as we came back off of COVID, we found out there were some environmental issues at the high school, and now we're going to have this beautiful new high school. And so rather than going back to online learning and remote learning for our students, which they did not tolerate well.
Yes.
It was hard for many students.
Yes.
And we certainly noticed for our students in particular, it was a real challenge. So I approached Superintendent Flanagan. I said, we might have an opportunity to move the school down to Rock Point Commons. We had just done a staff retreat down there, talked to Paul, the director there, and said, hey, I think you might have room for us, because they weren't using it as it was intended, like for a conference center because of COVID.
I didn't know that's how it came to fruition.
That's how it came. So we moved on top there first. And so from 2020, we've been there in some form or fashion.
Got it.
And what occurred then was, then we started having discussions with Rock Point Commons, which is right behind the high school near North Beach, beautiful location on the lake, the property owned by the Episcopalian Diocese in Vermont. But we started having the conversation, well, we're sort of identifying what the mission is of Rock Point, or the Episcopalian Church is like serving students and youth in our community. So that discussion sort of bore out of that first experience of just what we thought might be a temporary placement down there, just
rental space
to serve a need,
right?
Because of the high school closing. And we just started to envision what could be.
Wow.
And then really decided to start talking more about how to merge the two programs, and then so we have this beautiful location. So, and it is truly beautiful. Like when we think about students that haven't had great experiences in life or in school, that may need something more trauma-informed and therapeutic in nature, you know, truly Mother Nature serves that purpose really well, right?
Right.
And so just being in the woods and off the beaten path, I mean, it's 5 minutes from downtown Burlington, but it feels like you're a million miles away. So it's this great therapeutic, just nurturing environment as you look out on the lake, in the woods. It's really beautiful. So we're very fortunate to be in such a lovely environment for sure.
And so I know that when we closed the BHS campus, originally we had had horizons at St. Mark's. We were renting space as well.
Yes.
So in renting space, so the fact that we were able to look to the future as potential space that we could work with in combining the two, and the evolution of our capital projects throughout the city and BSD, and then wanting to use St. Mark's as well for IEA and the renovation of that we've talked to, we showed viewers what we're doing at IEA. How lucky to have this piece of property that now sits so close to our high school campus.
Yes.
That we have worked with the diocese, like you said, for a long-term lease, and made an investment. So let's look at...
and it really serves our students well. We had initially had a space in the new high school build
Yes.
to place our programs, and families and students really made it clear that that wasn't something that they wanted, for a variety of reasons. One, just a larger environment can be overwhelming, and just their experience hadn't been great, and they wanted something that was their own.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that was critical to the
Yes.
feedback that when we talked about the campus, because there is always that neuroses of efficiencies, and put it there, but the whole premise around attending an alternative space for learning is to be away from such a daunting environment that you're trying to not create for students that need different learnings, like we all do.
Absolutely.
So thank you for...
And we call it, we don't call it an alternative school. One, we do it for a couple of reasons. One, it sort of indicates that there's a right way to do school.
Okay.
And I think there's many pathways. We like to call ourselves a flexible pathway school, which also connects to the state law of Vermont, Act 77, the flexible pathways legislation, because we want to give students different avenues to access their learning. And so we want that to sort of be in their consciousness when they talk about what kind of school we are.
Thank you for bringing that
sure.
to the viewers' attentions and mine as well. I absolutely hear you for flexible pathways, as well as, thank goodness we've evolved.
Yes.
You know, and even with
sure.
proficiency-based learning, which we'll get into later.
Yes, absolutely.
So again, celebrating the student and the different paths that students can take to contribute to the betterment of their world and society.
Yes.
So here we start with our first picture. We will click on to driving down up through Rock Point. This is our first set of pictures. So just waiting. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm not sure if you're... There it is. Thank you. So as you enter, you pass down Institute Road. You take a right up by the Rock Point School, and as you drive through, you can keep going. We can keep going on these photos.
Yep.
The next is the bridge that is being renovated, or actually newly constructed over the bike path. So again, a necessary endeavor to make sure that we can utilize this property for many years. That will outlive us, but that has been going on for the last 4 months, and is soon to wrap up, hopefully within the next 4 more.
I think we're getting close.
Yes.
My understanding is they might be done the bridge in July, which will allow us to then commence with the site work down at the campus that we'll see when we get to those photographs.
So we'll keep going with the photos. So we'll pass the bridge, then we go down again, beautiful, calming entrance to the facility, and we'll go to the next photo. There's the bike path that you go over with the new bridge. It's so beautiful, Rock Point. And then we just included that overall campus, all this area that you can explore that is right outside your doorsteps for students to enjoy. So now we can go to the next set of slides B set, and we can go into the interior. So tell us a day in the life of the students. is it separated 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th? Or I know that you have teams.
Yes, we have teams. We're divided into 3 houses, one called the Nest, one called Trillium House, one called Cedar House, and we are multi-age groupings. So we don't even really discuss, and students don't really view themselves as freshmen, sophomores, juniors, or seniors, but by the year they start with us, because the reality is many of our students come in with some credit deficiencies, so as to not focus on where you are in terms of that trajectory and you may be behind. It can be a little deflating for students, create a shame response, and so we just talk about what you need to do to finish. And so you got here, and next year our students will be all 2025 students, and you got here at 2025 and you'll finish when you finish, when your needs are met and that you've accessed the curriculum and the work in the way that best suits your needs, and you've finished the work to obtain those proficiencies and skills.
Thank you for explaining that.
Of course.
And we can walk through, I love these, when I visited campus last year and this year, so these motivational things, obviously, I'll try to do my best at everything. We can go to the next slide and we can just walk through all of these slides. School-wide expectations, again, same, that I love seeing these reminders to students and taking care of themselves and being responsible and respectful. And then ego-based supports. I really appreciated this flow chart. And do you mind walking through what each individual, I mean, not full details, but what a comprehensive team that you have.
Yeah, and it's really about, like, because we know our students require support throughout the day, as do many students in the school setting. And so we want to make it really clear, like, if you're struggling in some way, who could you access to support you with that struggle? And many of the people function multidimensionally, right? It's not just the one thing, but we each just wrote up a piece like, if you have something that you might need, then this is why you could come to me, or how I might be able to support you or guide you. And so I'm up there, my school counselor. We have a school counselor for the first time this year in our history.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
I know that was a request.
So
and I'm
wonderful.
Glad that was something, even with equitable budgeting, to put that in, let the superintendent know and the school board know, that is a necessity.
It's a game changer for doing the proficiency-based work, guiding that work, and then just additional therapeutic and counseling supports for our students.
Right.
Then we have Jim Shields, who is our student-centered learning coordinator, functions sort of as an academic coach, but more importantly, he really guides the student-directed learning and work in our building, connecting students to internship opportunities, helping us develop all the community partnerships.
What was the acronym you used? It's like intro to, it's like, it says, it ends with internships, but it was, I'll have to think of it, but it was, I was so happy to see that, because in high school,
CBL, community-based learning, is
maybe that was it.
One of them.
But it was,
and ELOs
like,
too, extended learning opportunities.
Because you don't hear, typically post-high school, you think of internships, but how great. And I loved your sort of the overview of Eagle Bay Academy in emphasizing those community partners, like your Friday curriculum is out in the community or working with community, and then the internships that happen and spark interest for students, because again, with the accreditation that students need to graduate with a high school degree, but also to focus on the things that they're interested in, and that what motivates them.
Well, and I think it builds such an important skill in their life outside of school when they become adults. The thing that I fear the most for many of our students is that they get stuck somewhere, right? And by doing all this exploration, being vulnerable, taking risks, failing, you can still learn and earn proficiencies when you fail in our program. I think from the traditional mindset of school is, I hand this paper and I get an F, I'm done, I failed. Not the case with these kinds of experiences, because you go out, you try something, you realize you don't like it, and you sort of articulate that. There's so much learning that occurs in that. And then when you're out of high school and you're like, well, I don't like this. This isn't meeting my needs. It's not feeding my soul. I can go on to something else, right? And I think we probably both have talked to many people in our lives who get stuck in jobs or situations that are unhealthy for them, and they don't have the wherewithal of the skills to sort of navigate that and move along. And so that's what we're really trying to impart. Because those kinds of skills serve us so well as adults and human beings.
I feel lucky that in the Burlington School District, I do get that sense that nobody is stuck, that the world's your oyster. Whether it's living in the city and having the mindset of all the community partners we list in our annual report, that we can't do it without you. And that I used to think, like post-secondary, whether our students are going on, ultimately we want them to have a choice. So when they graduate from us, they can go, whether it's to CCTV, whether it's to a 4-year accredited college or out in the workforce, that we used to say, like, what's your major? Undecided. And everyone's undecided mostly. So, whether it should be changed to exploring or what have you. So I love
100%.
to hear that you're supportive of that in your team. We can go back to the photos, if you don't mind, control room, and we'll show the classrooms and the settings inside Eagle Bay Academy, and all the action and artwork and the STEM, learning from each of the teams. I know we were just at Lake Champlain and learning, if you want to, I can share math through art, and that was so exciting. This is your 3rd year in a row led by your team. Do you want to just share it?
Yeah, it's just, again,
beautifying Burlington.
Yeah, right, beautifying Burlington, and we want to try to create experiences. Right now, when students come to us, they may not, there's a lot of unlearning that needs to occur, and so they may not have an idea or even believe that they could actually control their learning experiences. So many teachers will develop projects and plans that we can do in small groups or even in whole classrooms or houses, and that was the case for the mural project in the Nest. And the teacher, Ann Gatch and Lynn Capel and Megan Razumowski in the Nest developed this opportunity to work with the City of Burlington to beautify it, create a mural. It's connected from Nancy Benefor's Sacred Geometry artist residency. And so you're learning about mathematics through that process. But it gives a real audience for it. One, it allows students to complete something, start a project, finish it as a group. It's an authentic audience. It's the City of Burlington. It was the city, the mayor's office.
Yes.
So all these opportunities to make connections and inroads with community partners, and then just to experience that together. Now, it wasn't every student's first choice to want to do a mural, but they all participated and connected to it, and then felt really proud of it at the completion of it, even with some hemming and hawing. Or,
oh my gosh!
But it's
some of the
amazing.
pictures, holy erasers. Yeah. If you can show some of the artwork or the poster boards of all the mathematical triangles and hexagons and things of that nature. And there's a couple more slides of just showing, I remember they brought out the poster boards of how they actually, took it from the paper, from the classroom. So many, you see the lines, drawn before, erased, drawn again, and then to freehand it on the walls, the polygon stars. It just so exciting, and to see all the students represent. I know each time that we've displayed this in this or been to the opportunity for the students to be aware, they've talked to the press and seen the impact that it has, the positive impact it has, not only in their learning but in the city. So I love those. I love those opportunities.
Yeah, it just gives them that opportunity to develop those partnerships, have an authentic audience, and then feel really proud about something they've completed.
And even within, so if we can go through, I know that was the planters, amazing. Thank you. We can keep going to more slides. In-school learning, morning advisory, the schedule that goes down the day. I love all the work that teachers put into their classrooms. Just very tangible, making it very a warm environment to learn in as well. And the seating, you serve lunch every day. You have your own kitchen. You have your own kitchen staff.
Yes.
And the common area that will show viewers as well.
Students do a ton of cooking in the kitchen as well. We're trying to develop programming so they actually serve lunch.
Perfect.
We get them trained in safe serve.
Yes.
And are able to then provide lunch. And with some of the gardens too, we're working on getting raised beds next year. And you saw the grow. We have 4 of those grow towers.
Yes.
So we want to kind of like feed your community, come together, break bread. Just more ways to develop community and not stratify the different houses, but really start developing a community vibe there so students feel connected.
Very fun, very cool. Yeah. And then more, just again, these are all brand new classrooms, new flooring. It was an old building older building, built in the 80s.
It was the
Okay,
80s, yes.
and it was a retreat and
Correct.
a campus place. So we have now created this incredibly healthy building that serves our classrooms, our 3 teams, additional meeting space. We can go to the next slides. I know that those are the plants that are growing feverishly for the turtles, for
Yes.
the new aquarium that's going to be unveiled once Burlington Glass. There's the turtle. I mean, that's so exciting.
It's
for
amazing.
students.
Yeah. It's just again with community partnerships, and this really stemmed out of the vision of some students who said we'd like to create a better environment, some sort of bioactive, self-sustaining environment for the turtles, and so 2 students took that on and created the experience for themselves, and then enlisted
Shared it with
help
the
with
students.
enlisted it with their classmates, and then developed it, and so it's getting close. It was almost a year-long project to get complete, and we're getting to the tail end of it right now.
Very cool.
But a great opportunity for them to develop something, share it with the community. It'll have a lasting impact too.
Without a doubt.
Be their imprint as they leave, and those 2 students that started that are graduating this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And I know that you can have up to 65 students at Eagle Bay.
Yes.
And again, the ebb and flow. Students don't have to necessarily enter only at 9th grade. They can come in at different grades.
Yep, different times of the year as well.
Different
Yeah.
times of the year. 3 teams, like we shared, that are, you used to call them teachers plus advisors, because we like to use that phrase. I like how you explain that, because they are advising every day and supporting students in
Many ways.
Yes,
As
yes.
social workers, therapists, obviously teachers, and to help with the support with academics. But they really guide the students in that student-directed learning too. We have advisory. We call it crew typically. We've changed that recently over the last year because there's no passengers. We're all crew. We got to work together to support, and that's not ours. It's from
Yes.
expeditionary learning. But it's this process where the advisors really support students in developing student-directed learning plans so that they can explore their passions and their interests and create meaningful connections to their learning.
Very cool. All right. Well, we'll go through the last sort of iteration of our slides. We'll show you, like we said, we made the school district with the diocese invested so that it's ADA accessible. So we have an elevator. It's 2-floor building. The light that comes in, the indoor common space is right off the cafeteria or kitchen, excuse me, for common place for people to eat. There's our incredible elevator shaft that leads up to the 2nd floor to the library. I know you do gymnasium. You had a relationship with the YMCA.
Yes.
And I know that you also had a grant, and we got some weights.
Yes.
Which is great. New facilities, new bathrooms, everything that makes the school welcoming and accommodating to value this learning setting.
And those 2 last things you just mentioned, those are completely student-directed projects. One was the library. A group got together and wanted to do that. Now one student who wants to be a librarian is sort of running that and developing. We had books in all the different houses, but they wanted to put them in one specific spot, which is a great idea.
Yeah.
It's an old librarian. That was
Yes.
dear to my heart. And then did all the work to get us a catalog and everything else and organize the books. And then the other piece,
Fitness.
the fitness
weights.
center, that just students were like, it was the STEM lab, but we need a place to work out. So they changed it into a fitness center and enlisted some grant writing, but then also just talking to the community about donating things.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And then from the outside, what does it look, the building, its shape, I think it was the final set. It's a large, again, we haven't finished, the school district hasn't completed the landscaping because we needed those heavy trucks to get over the bridge, which was compromised, so we're waiting for once the bridge is completed. This is looking out at one of your 2 classrooms.
Yes.
Beautiful standing seam.
And that's all new build right there. So there was some parts where it was retrofitted and reconstructed in the interior, and that one piece is a new build.
That's
new
the front.
addition.
Thank you for explaining that. Thank goodness we have this wonderful tree at our front entrance to the right with the mailbox. You have a front office. You have the school counselor like we shared. And I see to the far right the air conditioning, which is now a necessity in all
Absolutely.
schools.
And it works great, yes.
Yes.
Found out recently.
part, again, transitioning from some of the old building to the new. And again, this is the outside bike rack. And we're standing in the parking lot looking at the building, and the lake is on the flip side of this building. So you have, again, there's outside eating area for people to enjoy. You peek through the lake right through there. And again, ample space for congregating and just so peaceful. And what a great opportunity for students to be outside. And I know we talk about kids do miss recess, they do miss outside community time, so they do and a lot of kids, when you do have surveys, they're like, we only get 10 minutes for lunch, and it's this frenetic pace. So it's nice to see that you can be out in the wild and have a pizza oven.
They were playing cornhole at lunch today. We have one group during lunch plays wiffle ball or throws a football around every day. So it's just great having that access to that space right outside the doors.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, so nice. There's a great view. Upstairs, those are full of classrooms. The downstairs is the common cafeteria area. The flip side is the wing on the lake side of the new addition that was put onto the building. And then is there any, besides site work, there's the library. I loved how I was going through each of the books, and like you said, like someone cataloged all of them.
Absolutely.
So I love that that's how it came to fruition from the student centered. And any other things that are on your list that have to get done besides once the bridge and the landscape, more cosmetics on the campus?
Yeah, I think it's really the site work, so that the landscaping sort of matches the beauty of the new building and the upgrades that have been made. And that'll get done this summer, and so we hope to have a grand opening in the fall that sort of highlights that we're really moved into the space fully.
Great.
And that's through our great partnership with Rock Point. So it's really been, they've been terrific partners and supports.
Great.
So it's been really nice, yeah.
And then how, I know we're listed, Eagle Bay is listed on the website, Burlington School District, and families through their school counselors at middle school or at the high school, getting to know it. And I know that in part of your overview, students can come shadow it or come visit, sort of open door policy once you make an appointment and get to know it. Yeah. And I like what you said. We haven't had an official opening of Eagle Bay for the community.
Yes.
So that will be something that we could look forward to potentially in the fall of 2025.
Absolutely. We wanted it to be done completely before we brought people in to just really get the feel for the beauty that it's on and what it can be. Yeah, for sure.
Great. Yeah. Well, shout out to your faculty and staff.
Absolutely. They've worked tremendously hard. Yeah.
I agree. And I appreciate, I know that you have your graduation in 2 days from now, so thank you for taking the time.
Of course.
And then I do want to share, on behalf of the school board and the district, your award that was given this year.
Thank you very
as
much.
Vermont Principal of the Year.
Yes.
Tell me your thoughts, or, again, I know what motivates you. I know your children. I know your wife as well as a valued and cherished educator here in the Burlington School District. But
I mean, yeah, it's always wonderful to get an award like this. I've been blessed with it twice now. I also received it at IAA, and really, what it comes down to is that I've had good people around me. I've been fortunate enough for people to get behind my vision for things, and then it's very easy to say yes when people get motivated and connected to a mission and trajectory of a building and the heartbeat of that building and program. And so I've just been blessed with people who want to do this kind of work and support me in developing what it takes to get it done, and ultimately, and at the end of the day, supporting students in a way that's super healthy with grace and kindness and compassion. Yeah.
And if you were to summarize like a student or a family, because I've been to your graduation, do you call them celebrations of learning?
Yes. Yeah.
Celebrations of learning. I have seen the connection that families have with you personally and with your faculty and staff. It is just incredible, that to see a student from 5th grade to graduating last year and over the past, and them bringing community members who are part of their learning experience.
Yes.
That was one thing that touched me, that it wasn't just your immediate family, but people that helped these students throughout over the years as community members, and your welcomingness on top of your traditions, and that they're still young children, so you can be hokey where it's not even hokey. I loved how the faculty and staff, your tradition is to read the book, and everybody takes a line out of the book that is a relatable picture book, storybook, and it really
100%.
does bring it back down to why we're here, why we're educating students, that we are still that child in first grade,
Yes.
even though we're graduating at Eagle Bay Academy, and nurturing that it's all about relationships.
Yes.
Is what I want to spit out.
It really is, yes. It's funny you say that. I had a student in my office today looking at some children's books I had bought to see which one we wanted to read this year.
Yes.
And then I jokingly said, well, hey, why don't you read it this year? And at first she was like, no way. But by the time she left my office, she's like, I'm going to come back and read it a couple more times. I might read it.
Okay.
So we
Getting
can
that confidence, public speaking.
And the more that we can have students run and engage with leading the work. We just did some work with Up for Learning for student voice and agency, helping plan for next year. And so the more that we can involve them in the making of the school and the functioning of the school, I think the more connected they will and the more meaning they'll take from their experiences there.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to be doing how we were taught back in the 60s, 70s or 80s. So I love the evolution. Well, thank you so much for walking us through Eagle Bay Academy. Thank you so much for this, all that you've done with the district and your family and your children. Huge impact on the city of Burlington.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here, and thank you, viewers, and we will see you next month. Thank you so much for joining us and learning all about Eagle Bay and Principal Bobby Riley and his amazing staff and faculty that put in the work, and students. Congratulations to those students in 2025 that are graduating from Eagle Bay Academy. We are so proud of you. Thanks.